This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 439. Fathers, Filling the Void to Help Create a Better You by Dr. Timothy Loving with Luvze.com. Hey, I'm Joss Marie, and welcome to Optimal Relationships Daily. This is the show where I narrate to you from a wide range of relationship topics every weekday, just like an audiobook. And today, I'll be covering a post from Dr. Timothy Loving with Luvze.com that talks about the role of dads and how fathers influence kids' development. As someone who's always interested in parenting tips, I can't wait to share Dr. Loving's personal experience with you, so let's hear it and start optimizing your life. Fathers, Filling the Void to Help Create a Better You by Dr. Timothy Loving with Luvze.com. What follows is a rough transcript of a conversation I had with a woman a few weeks ago while at my neighbor's barbecue. Background: she heard that I had 2 kids and my son had recently turned 5 months old. Her: that must be really hard for her, having to put her son in childcare all day. Note: she may not have emphasized the her, but I certainly heard it so. Me: yes, it is hard for us. We don't like spending any more time away from our kids than we have to. Admittedly, I may have stressed the plural pronouns in my response over-enthusiastically, but as someone who fancies himself as an involved father, I couldn't help but make it clear that child-rearing or life decisions that affect our children are made by and impact both me and my wife. I get where the pro-mom bias comes from. For the vast majority of families, moms do fill the role of primary caregiver, and both the quantity and quality of time they spend with their children profoundly influences kids' development. But just because moms matter doesn't mean dads don't. In a paper published last year in the Journal of Family Psychology, the researchers note that most of the work on child outcomes takes a mom's and dad's influences are independent approach. For example, researchers commonly assess moms' behaviors when interacting with their toddlers and dads' behaviors when interacting with their toddlers, and then check to see whether dads affect kids' outcomes, for example, school performance, above and beyond the influence moms have. On average, they do. In this study, however, the researchers wanted to know whether kids especially benefited from involved fathers when moms weren't particularly involved. Or, as they put it, quote, "In families without a supportive mother, disadvantaged parenting environments, supportive father-child interactions may evoke children's potential for adaptive socio-emotional and cognitive functioning that would remain otherwise unexpressed." End quote. How did they test this hypothesis? They analyzed data from 723 children pulled from the Study of Early Childcare and Youth Development, a government-funded, large-scale longitudinal study of families that focuses specifically on predictors of optimal child outcomes. The kids were tracked from 1 month of age through the 5th grade and included observation of the mothers and fathers interacting with their approximately 4.5-year-old children. Each parent interacted separately in an activity with the child. For example, dads and their kids were asked to build a structure with chutes and ramps for marbles to run through. Moms and kids participated in similar but different activities. Free play activities with puppets or stuffed animals were also observed. The researchers coded the parents on 2 markers of supportiveness. A, being a supportive presence, for example, responding appropriately to the child and boosting confidence when needed. For example, "You're doing a great job stacking those blocks." And B, stimulating cognitive development. For example, promoting problem solving, teaching principles, or doing things that help the child gain new skills. For example, reading and math skills. And B, social skills. For example, being cooperative and showing self-control. As predicted, more supportiveness by fathers was associated with their kids' increased school readiness, but only when mom wasn't pulling her weight in the supportiveness department. In contrast, supportive moms benefited kids regardless of what dad did. Interestingly, the effect of dads was strongest for the social skills outcomes, lending support to the idea that, quote, "Fathers are particularly important for young children's development of social skills. For example, father-child play is often thought to be more arousing than mother-child play, and hence potentially more instructive for skills surrounding emotional regulation and conflict resolution." End quote. That's right. All that rough and tumble play and wrestling does more than damage the occasional vase or limb. It may actually give kids practice interacting with others when emotions and heart rates are running high. The researchers acknowledge that it's not clear exactly why the kids benefit when dad is supportive but mom isn't versus when she is. It's possible that the dads in these families may deliberately try to compensate for their wife's lack of engagement, thus exposing the kid to a greater quantity of supportive fathering and parenting than he or she may otherwise get. As a result, dads in these situations fill the void left by mom, allowing their children to continue on a path towards optimum functioning. It's also likely that dad's support matters most when moms are unsupportive because in most situations, mom is the primary caregiver. As a result, she has more opportunities to interact with her children, leaving dad with little room to improve upon when mom is already supportive. But when she's unsupportive, it's dad's opportunity to come to the rescue, so to speak. Such an interpretation raises an intriguing possibility. When dad is the primary caregiver, for example, stay-at-home dads, could we expect the pattern of results to be reversed? Perhaps in these unique and understudied family contexts, support from mothers only matters when dads are unsupportive. It's an interesting question and one that will hopefully be addressed in future work. Finally, I should note that even though the effect of supportive fathers is muted when kids also have a supportive mother, that doesn't mean the dads are inconsequential in these contexts. There are likely other outcomes that this study did not measure that dad's efforts may influence more dramatically, independent of mom's supportiveness. Further, the researchers argue in many cases the fathers may provide other important resources, such as financial support to the family and emotional support to the mom, which very likely makes it so that she can maintain a high level of supportiveness with their kids in the first place. And remember, supportive fathers also influence who their adult daughters find attractive. You just listened to the post titled, Fathers, Filling the Void to Help Create a Better You, by Dr. Timothy Loving with Luvze.com. But just because moms matter doesn't mean that dads don't. Isn't that so true? Even though moms fill the role of primary caregiver for the majority of families, I like how Dr. Timothy reminds us that fathers may provide a range of other important resources too, such as how father-child play can help in the development of young children's social skills and emotional regulation. Good to know because Lee and Talon are constantly wrestling, and you should hear the giggles that come out of that little boy when they're doing that. Both moms and dads have important roles to fulfill in terms of supportive and effective parenting. And remembering this will help our children continue on their path towards optimum functioning. And on that note, I want to remind you that Luvze.com has a book that answers 40 common questions on relationships, family, and parenting. All of their contributors are relationship scientists and teachers at universities who are true experts on relationships. To learn more, visit Luvze.com/book. But with that, let's wrap it up. Thanks so much for joining me here today, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the final show of the week, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.